lifeless. But it will store all the water needs to survive inside its trunk during those 9 months. Now, during drought, African elephants have been known to pierce the trunk of the tree with their tusks in order to receive water from it to survive. Now, this is the Savannah Overlook. The Savannah is home to some pretty famous animals. It's going to be giraffe, elephants, and lions, but it's also home to some animals that you're probably not too familiar with, like cows, over on that right side. Now, these are Ankole cattle. Ankole cattle are also known as Watusi cattle, named after the Watusi tribe that first domesticated these animals. They are the only animal on the entire reserve that are actually domesticated. Now, it looks as if those horns could weigh their head down, but they do not. It's not because they have strong neck muscles. It's actually because the horns themselves practically weigh nothing at all. It's a honeycomb structure on the inside made up of blood vessels that allows for blood circulation and actually regulates the animal's body temperature in the process. You can think of it as its own personal air conditioning unit. The animal cannot live without those horns, and the average length of them from tip to tip are 6 feet long. And up ahead on the left-hand side, we are going to see some wild dogs, painted dogs, or spotted dogs. They have many different name variations. However, hyena is not one of them. These are not hyena. And does anybody know what animal the hyena is actually related to? What family it belongs in? Anyone? Take a guess?
The feline.
No.
Canine.
No. The hyena is actually going to be a part of a family all to itself called Hyaenidae. So a hyena is a hyena. It's not a cat or a dog. Now, these are going to be canines, of course, but these canines are the most dangerous hunter on the entire savannah. They have a better hunting record than lions. It's a 90% success rate.
Wow.
As they chase it to the point of exhaustion. Now, over on that left side, we are going to see some sables. Sables are the official emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. The dark color hide a sable has, the more dominant that animal actually is.
Get the giraffe
bird.
when we go by.
Now, on the other side of the truck, we're going to pass through some termite mounds. Termite mounds are rather strong structures found in nature. They're made up of saliva, dirt, and dung. Elephants love to use them as scratching posts. When they get worn down from all that scratching, smaller animals like springbok like to hop up top and use it as a lookout post for predators. And we are coming up to a tower of giraffe. That's what a group of giraffes are going to be called, a tower. They are the tallest land animal. They tower over everything, so the name fits. A lot of the names of animals are given because of a characteristic the animal generally displays. Now, there's actually going to be about 9 different species of giraffe in the world, but we only have one on the reserve. These are Maasai giraffe. Now, the life of the giraffe starts off being very tall, since they're the tallest land animal. They're born at 6 feet, taller than the average adult human. And then they get to be about 18 to 20 feet, as I said back there with the Nile crocodile. Now, my favorite fact about the giraffe is that the giraffe actually, despite its size, only needs 30 minutes of sleep a day. And it usually sleeps standing up. Now, we're going to have some white-bearded wildebeest over on the right side as well. Wildebeest is their Afrikaans name, which just translates into wild beast. They're also referred to in European countries as gnus, just from the sound the animal actually makes. Cows go moo, wildebeest go new. Now, giraffes are also known for the long neck that they have. Does anybody know how many vertebrae are in the neck of a giraffe?
Same that we have.
Yes, well, how many is that?
Who knows?
Who knows? It's going to be 7. They have the exact same number of vertebrae in their neck that we do. And just shows that we have a little bit more in common with these animals than we really think. Now, the 2 over on the right side are going to be male, both of them. And the behavior they're demonstrating is not affectionate. The older one is actually teaching the younger one how to defend itself. It's a term called necking, and the animal will use that, like I said, to defend itself, its territory, or in defense of its female. Now, these little guys over on the right are springbok. Springbok are only maybe about 3 feet tall, but they can jump vertically into the air 9 feet. If they're going in any direction, it is increased up to 13 feet. And when they're constantly jumping across the savannah, that jumping action is called pronking. And up ahead, this rock formation is known as Monkey Point. Monkey Point is the territory where we can normally see mandrill monkeys and African elephants. So let's try to keep our eyes peeled. We are going to see an African elephant over on the right side. Why do you say that? It's by itself. You did this before.
Small.
Yes. It's very small. It is a juvenile male elephant. The common answer that I do get that it's a male is because it has tusks. That only applies to Indian elephants, not African elephants. But is a male because he's by himself, and we'll talk about that a little later. Now we're going to see some juvenile monkeys. They're mandrills. You're going to see the large male over there. Now he is beautiful. He's got brightly colored face and bottom markings. Those primary colors, the red, yellow, and the blue. Now when that animal actually gets more excited, the color markings on its body get even more vibrant. Kind of in the same fashion we do. We get a little flush when we're embarrassed. The blood rushes to those parts of our bodies. Same for the animal. Now, the difference between an ape and a monkey, does anybody know what the difference is? A little louder?
The tail.
The tail, that's it, yes. So if it's a monkey, it will have a tail. If it's an ape, they do not have tails. Now mandrills have a very small stump of a tail. You can look by looking at your animal spotting guide. You can probably tell by seeing those little juvenile mandrills back there. Very small, but it still qualifies an animal to be a monkey. Now, hopefully in this detour, you can figure out where the rest of those herds of elephants are. Now, it looks as if we ran into a red clay pit, which is a good thing. Actually, elephants do love red clay. This provides them with a bunch of vitamins and nutrients they don't normally get in their diet, and hopefully we can find a herd of elephants. Now, as they did guess, they guessed correctly that it is by itself, so it's going to be a male. So that means if you see a herd of elephants, they're primarily going to be made up of all adult females, of course with the exception of the offspring they are raising. But it is going to be ran on a matriarchy, meaning that most dominant female elephant is going to be the one in charge. And that plays all a part on why the male is always alone. Once they reach maturity, around 13 years or so, that dominant female elephant will force all males from her herd. They'll live a life of solitude, only going back to other herds in order to mate. Now that female will stay the boss of her herd unless she's challenged by another female and loses that challenge, or she passes on, hopefully because of old age and not other factors that do affect the species. Now speaking of females, the gestation period of an African elephant is one of the longest of any land animal. It is 22 months. That is only 2 months shy of 2 full years that the elephant is pregnant. And when that baby elephant is ready to be born, it is born into the world at 200 to 300 pounds. Sounds like a lot, but the average weight of an African elephant, 6 tons, so 300 pounds isn't that much at all. Now, the African elephant is an endangered species because of poaching. Unlike the Indian elephant, all of the species, regardless of gender, do develop those ivory tusks. So it does put into a larger perspective how big of an issue poaching actually is to this animal. And now we have to worry about something else, deforestation. Right now in Africa, we're mining for a mineral called coltan. Why that's significant to us is because coltan is inside of our cell phone. It powers our cell phone. It's used in the battery. So to help this species out, reduce, reuse, recycle. It serves a greater cause than just collecting dust in a desk drawer somewhere. Kind of help the animal preserve its species for future generations to enjoy. Now through all that talking, we did pass a flamboyance of flamingo. That's what a group of flamingos are going to be called, the flamboyance. Now those were greater flamingo, but those are about as pink as they're going to get. They get the pink coloring from that beta-carotene diet that they have. Now over on the left side, we are going to see my favorite animal of all time, the white rhinoceros. Now white rhinos are the largest of the rhinos. Hold on. You hear that low? It's a very low, annoying sound. Not in a sense of it's annoying to hear, it's actually wonderful to hear, but that was a male lion is what it sounded like. Their roar is very low, so it means that we're getting a little closer to those lions, so make sure you look out for them. But the white rhino is the largest. It's 5,000 pounds a piece. It's 15,000 pounds over there eating breakfast. And the animal can get up to about 20 to 30 miles an hour. But the white rhino is just as endangered as the black rhinoceros. Their numbers aren't as low as 5,000, but endangered is endangered nonetheless, and we really need to work on not getting the animal's population to as low as that black rhinoceros. Now, up on the left side, we're going to see the cheetah. We're going to see 2 cheetahs. There's actually one between the trees all the way on that left side. Now, cheetahs are the fastest land animal. They get up to about 60 miles an hour in just 3 seconds. Now, just because a cheetah is fast does not mean that it's a distance runner. It's only a sprinter. So if the prey that it is chasing has a higher endurance level than the cheetah, it can possibly survive as long as it sustains any injuries during that chase. We're going to see actually 2 more cheetahs over on the right side as well. They're going to be right behind that oak tree. Now up ahead is the Kopi that lion is probably home to. Now lions are nocturnal, so it's really odd that we are hearing vocalization in the morning. They're inactive about 19 to 20 hours out of the day. Doesn't necessarily mean they're sleeping that long, but they are lounging around the same behavioral patterns or tendencies as domestic pets and other large cats like to do. And there he is.
Oh, right there.
Oh, right there, look at it.
Now you can obviously tell the difference between a male and a female lion by the amount of fur that develops around its head and neck. A lot of us already know that's called a mane. But you actually tell the fullness of the male lion's mane is actually the health level of the lion. So the fuller the male lion's mane, the healthier he actually is.
Oh, he just...
They're animals. They have to mark their territory. It's all right. Happens to everybody.
Oh, no, right? He's like, ooh.